Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight. My motto's always been when it's right, why wait until the middle of a cold dark night? When everything's a little clearer in the light of day. And we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight. Rubbing sticks and stones together, making sparks ignite. And the thought of loving you is getting so exciting. Sky rockets in flight. Woo! Afternoon delight. Whoop. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
Yes. Hi, Devin.
How's it going, David?
Good to see you again.
Likewise. A pleasure. Thank you for joining us. We're here at Clusterfest.
Yes.
Is it your first time at Clusterfest?
I think so.
What do you think so far about doing the festival versus like doing clubs and like other venues?
Well, the venues are sold out. That's fun. And you don't have to do any work. I did one show, grateful to do the one show, and the audiences were fantastic.
I saw your show. It was packed house.
It was
standing
packed.
room only,
Yeah.
by the way. You guys killed it. You
Did
guys,
we? Okay, thank you.
I came in, unfortunately, I missed the beginning, but you guys were doing a Herald, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing an Armando, but same thing. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear the setup, so I'm sorry. But I love improv, and I wanted to talk to, I read Del Close, and I wanted to ask you about Del. How was it working with Del?
I used to say that studying with Del felt like you were in basic training when they were using live rounds.
Oh, wow.
So,
Awesome.
I mean, he was intimidating without trying. I had a real strong desire, I think everyone did, to get what he was saying, because he always seemed to be talking on 3 or 4 levels. Like there's a lot always going on. It wasn't about being funny. It was about doing the work and being respectful, as if comedy was a religion. And that's kind of, I'd say, the macro idea of what I took away from Del. That comedy's really important.
But I see what you're saying. So doing the work allows the comedy to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be truthful on stage as much as you can. If you're listening to your body and available to whatever is happening here, this will all come out.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's very like Stanislavski kind of. In
a way. In a way, if you're honestly responding to what's happening on stage, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Your kind of unconscious faculties take over.
Yes.
You become the character.
Which should be able to happen. Yeah.
Well, you seem to have mastered that because you're one of the greatest comedic actors I've seen.
That's running, right?
Yes, it is. And I'm not just saying that because I'm interviewing you, man. I really do.
I believe you. You're my favorite person on the planet right now.
Well, I appreciate that right now.
Right.
I hope I don't do anything to jeopardize that.
No.
But I want to ask you about TV and film in relative to improv.
Yeah.
I know that working on TV is drastically different than film, but I imagine that based on your body of work and who you've worked with, you probably had a little bit more leeway working on your films, maybe? Or
films, yes.
With improv?
Films much more open to improvising than TV. And there's a reason for that. TV is 23 and a half minutes, or maybe it's 22 and a half minutes now. You can't change the lines. Now, if you want to substitute a line, you have to get it approved from the writer or the director or the showrunner. And that one line has to replace another line. You can't add to your line, otherwise what? Someone else's line has to go away. So if you're improvising and it's not an improvised show, then you're being somewhat selfish by improvising. And you know what? Here's the thing. Some people are good at it, some aren't. And you don't want to open that can of worms where so-and-so gets to improvise, but no one else can, because then other people will start doing it. And now it's just a mess.
I was going to say, how do you react to that? Being somebody that's trained as an improviser with longevity, you must encounter other film actors that aren't stage trained. So they don't have that background, but yet maybe they try to play with you on camera. And
you got to be as accepting as you can, because if you believe in the basic tenet of it, there are no mistakes.
That's very true.
And if it doesn't work, then they won't use it, which is fine. Question is, do we have time, or is everyone else who is participating in this thing adept at using it? Like, can the editor sense how this is used? Does the director know how this should be used? And if you're all working in that same concert, then then it could work. Like, you know, if you're doing Anchorman, you got Adam McKay and everybody else who's great improvisers. It's all part of it. And also feeds a different kind of chemical energy that's going on in the scene. So in that regard, it works.
Do you have a favorite moment, whether it's from stage or film, that came upon from improvisation that sticks out over your career? Like, oh man, that was amazing when this happened.
I guess if I thought about it, I would come up with one, but there's more than one. You know.
That's a good thing.
All right, I'll tell you, on Anchorman 1, there was a time when it got cut from the movie. It's on that, what do they call it, the Lost movie or something? When Steve Carell, we're supposed to be attacking, or we're going to sneak into a observatory. Have you seen that other movie?
The uncut one?
The second one, the first one.
I've seen both.
Yeah, the first uncut, the one, it's called The Lost Movie or something.
Yeah, I saw it not recently, but when it was first released from the uncut, I did see that.
On DVD.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's this one point where we are going to rescue Veronica Corningstone from an observatory where she's being held. And we come up, there's this forked tree. We come up and we're behind, Ron's in there too. I think, I can't remember. We come up behind this forked tree and Steve Carell's like hunched down and me and Paul Rudd are looking through this tree. Camera's out here, right? And then Steve just starts improvising. Like, because he's Brick, which is, you know, he's addle-pated.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's like, stand down. All right, double helix, teacup around. He starts giving all these instructions. And I was like, oh my God, I could barely keep it together. And thank God Paul Rudd was smiling too, because otherwise it'd been a blown take. And it wasn't part of the script. So it was just like, sometimes that hat would help because I would just dip my head if I'm laughing.
That's good. That's a good character trait to have a costume piece.
Because you don't want to blow anyone's take.
Of course not. Yeah.
But I will tell you this, one of the hardest moments for me ever in film to not laugh, I'm sitting beside Steve as Brick. And Will Ferrell says, Ron says to Brick, shut up, Brick, just shut up, right? It's so goddamn funny because the whole agreement is like, you don't ever yell at Brick. I mean, that's beyond anything we would ever allow to happen. Like, no one's allowed to yell at Brick, especially Ron. And then we stand up after like, hey, no one yells at Brick. So it's so ridiculous. I'm sitting right next to Steve, and so I'm getting a fastball from Will Ferrell. Shut up, Brick, just shut up. And I don't want to blow the take because the camera's on us. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so hard. I'm about to laugh. I actually had to think of tough situations my kids have been in life, you know.
Oh, wow.
Whether they're being, you know, let's say harassed at school, or they just felt bad. I had to go think about that, so I didn't laugh, because you just kind of release your mind. I'm not here right now. I'm having to think about something else. Otherwise, I will fucking lose it.
Wow, that makes total sense. I would imagine that.
Fastball from fucking Will Ferrell?
Dude, how do you hit that?
I can't catch that.
I can't.
Shut up, Rick. Just shut up. It was like, oh my God. So fucking funny.
What do you have as a favorite medium? Like, what's your favorite to perform? Do you think it's film? Do you think it's TV? Do you like being on stage? Like, what makes you the happiest?
I used to give a bullshit answer like, I love them all. But really, one day I was doing ADR, which is called Additional Dialogue Recording, for a movie. And I get that question asked a lot. And I thought, it is film. You like films more than anything else, because it's special. It's one.
That's true.
That's the, you know, we'll be here next week in a TV show. I can go do another stand-up. You know, I'll do another voiceover, blah, blah, blah. The film is this one piece, and it's one part of historical, you know, context or a moment in time, that's it. And so you're like, film's pretty special. Although they're not making comedies anymore.
Well, I know, unfortunately, not like they're used to. Everything's just big budget and regurgitated.
Well, here's the thing. If you can spend $250,000, $250 million, and you're gonna make $1 billion, all right? Or you can spend $20 million and make $80 million. It's pretty clear which one you choose.
Right. Yeah. It's a numbers, and it's a risk of maybe making $80 million. You know, you might.
Right.
Somebody else doing something, taking risks for the first time,
Yeah.
May not.
You know what
quite get
Marvel's
that.
going to get you, right? You know what Star Wars is going to get you. So that's where all your budgets are going, and that kind of thing. It's a safer bet. I get it. So I would think you're gonna have more independent producers come in and start producing more comedies. I think the budget's gonna be lower and lower, but they'll come back.
I think so, and especially now with more places to see it. There's an unlimited place so you can observe content.
I know, but that's not as communal, and you don't know about it. Like I don't know about half the comedies that are all put out on Netflix now.
That's very true. You don't have time to watch them all.
I don't.
Nobody does.
No one does. Netflix is overwhelming to me.
It all is. It's market's like oversaturated. So to get something that sticks out is difficult.
That's really hard, yeah.
But at least I feel like as long as we can be successful monetarily in this industry and then have fun. I mean we get to play make believe for a living.
Yeah. Well, it's show business.
Exactly.
And either you do a play, or a teleplay, or a screenplay. Operative word in all those, play.
Play.
That's not a bad job.
It's not. What would your dream job be? Like if producer came and was like, "Here's unlimited resources." What you got to I want to do a feature, or I want to do a show.
Of course, it'd be a movie.
A movie.
Yeah, a series of movies. You'd love to do a series of small. I would love to do a series of small comedies that just work. I've got a couple ideas for an animated movie that will make me my $1 billion. I'm not gonna tell you.
No, don't. No, I want to know.
Yeah.
No, I want to see it. I want to see it on screen. I want to hear it here.
Animated films take a long time to put together, but whatever. So I would probably do film if I could just have my druthers, because television is a big commitment, and that's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. It's tedious.
And there's a lot of people who are putting their fingers in the pie.
You talk about film a lot, and also you've brought up, I like the memory that you use a negative memory of your kids to get out of that moment of breaking.
Yes.
And one of the things I knew about you is you did a film called Priceless.
Oh.
And I thought that it was, I read that you had spoken about it and said that, it was close to you because of your daughters. And because
it was about human trafficking.
Right, in the hypothetical sense of any girl in this position. Yeah. I would love to know your thoughts on that. I'd love to tell people about this movie and stuff.
Priceless was the movie, but if I can do a plug, there's an organization called Children of the Night. Just type that in. There'll be a Facebook page. Please donate. Donate $2, $5, $10. Children of the Night is a shelter in Los Angeles, and I fail to remember if there are more throughout the country, but they take young prostitutes off the streets from the ages of 11 to 17. That breaks your heart right there. Doing research for the movie, you Google that and you're just broken by reading these stories. You're like, my God, just one tragic tale after another. So anyway, my buddy was producing it. He asked me to do it. I read the script, and it actually was a lot of religion in it, But one of my speeches in the film was 3 pages long. I go, that's a God shot. And then I explained what a God shot is. It got trimmed down to half a minute or something like that. It was so long. It was funny. But anyway, yeah, it was a faith-based picture.
Got it.
Which, I'd never done one before, but it's fun. I got to grow a beard.
There you go. Very omnipotent of you. We gear our show here to a lot of up-and-comers in the entertainment industry.
Are you talking about Dash Comedy?
Dash Comedy.
What's the fellow's name?
I also, Marcus King.
Wait, are you talking about Wait a minute. Are you talking about Marcus King's Dash Comedy?
I am.
Go on.
We also have a group that works with us called Skitbags, and I host that particular show. And I like to gear it to the up-and-comer in the industry. I like to, say to the kid in Iowa who wants to get into entertainment, what they need to look for from professionals and people who have experience and wisdom, words of wisdom or advice or anything that you can give to that kid who's starting out.
Yes. Number one, there's no advice. There's no advice. There's only doing. So you either do it or you don't. If you're waiting for someone to tell you how good you are, stop. Doesn't matter. It's what you believe, not what someone else believes. If the audience is responding, that's all you need to know. I'm assuming you're doing something live, or you're writing. If you're writing, write every day. Okay, so 3 pieces of advice I always give, and it's only 3 books, because there's nothing to tell someone. If someone says, give me some advice, what they're really saying is, do you think I'm good?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Do you think I have it? I don't know. Only you know that. So, number 1 is read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Read The War of Art, not The Art of War, The War of Art by David Pressman. And then third is buy Stephen King's On Writing on audiobook and listen to it. It's delicious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've done one of those 3.
Which one? Outliers?
Outliers.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
And it's an easy read. Same with The Art of War, War of Art by David Pressman. War of Art. It's about not getting stuck on, things on failure, basically. And then like that, Stephen King on audiobook, just a treat. Because he narrates it.
I was going to ask, does he narrate?
He narrates it.
Him narrating his own stuff is even better. Like, he's special because he knows the cadence that he wrote it in his head.
It's him. You're like, I'm listening to a genius. And there's no doubt.
Yeah.
You're listening to Stephen King. Oh, I'm listening to a genius. This is fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and spending some time with us, man. Do you have
Devin, my pleasure. That's an Irish name.
It is. Cuban Irish, ironically weird.
I like the Irish part.
Me too. We're big drinkers.
I like both parts.
Thank you. You got any projects you come up that you want to say hello or tell everybody about?
Yes. Let's see here. Bless This Mess will be back in the fall on ABC.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
I love you on that, and I love Dax on that too.
I love Dax so much. When does this come out?
What is your photo policy?
Whenever you'd like. Soonest a week. Next week.
Because I'm doing Dax's Armchair Expert at the Chicago Theater next week.
Well, you can push it. I'll push it if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What else am I doing?
Or did you want to promote that? Is that what you're saying?
I don't care.
Because I can promote. We can put up a clip
I'm
of
sure
it
it's
on
probably
social.
already sold out.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I'm doing stand-up somewhere in July. I can't remember.
We'll put these dates
Bless
in
This
info.
Mess. I continue to do voice on F is for Family. If you haven't checked that out,
Yes.
it's the funniest fucking show.
Yo, Bill Burr, Justin Long, else on there as your co-stars. Phenomenal
Tons
cast,
of
great writing.
Yes.
You guys kill it.
Phil Hendry. What else? I'm gonna do the animated Marmaduke, which is they're making another one. I don't know when that'll come out. I always have 10. I don't know. And then stand up somewhere near you.
All right, last really quick, because I thought of this. I meant to ask you this, but I didn't want to interrupt you earlier. We're talking about superhero movies.
Yes.
Who is the superhero that David Koechner is going to play?
I don't know. Probably a villain in one of these.
Who do you want to? That's all
I'm not steeped enough in that
No,
genre
no.
to know.
But you think a villain would be more fun than a hero?
I think it'd be easier to cast me as a villain, and I would have fun being the villain. Because typically in those things you can kind of go over the top or not. But I would love to play a villain in that universe.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing it, man. Thank you.
Can't wait, because I'm sure there's some, obscure comic that hasn't been used yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're unlike any others. So.
Yes. Hey, gang, thanks for watching Marcus King's Dash Comedy. Stick around for more Fast Dash Comedy. See ya.
Skitbags Radio.